Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics. We're going to talk about sources of truth. We're going to talk about drones over New Jersey, and we're going to talk about Ryan Macbeth right here on YouTube. All right, let's jump into this. Okay, so actually, this very important, very real, very significant mystery just popped up in America, and it is what the heck is happening in New Jersey? And so all these lights are showing up in the sky over New Jersey. And everybody got an opinion. Everybody got an opinion, right? Now, first of all, is this real? This is quite lights over the sky in New Jersey that are unidentifiable is quite real. That's not debatable, right? And the reason why is one, a ton of people, literally thousands of people have seen this, right, and reported it. And I'm gonna say this here, right? Um, so somebody I know saw this, right? Like, so I didn't see it with my own eyes, but somebody I know for realsies. And by the way, why does that matter, Scott? It's a field report, right? I don't believe nothing on the internet generally, unless it is a trusted source of truth for me. Okay, and we're going to get into that a little bit more later. But I very much feel I really believe field reports. If you saw that with your own freaking eyeballs, I'm going to believe you, right? Now, if you tell me on the internet, I won't. But somebody I know saw these suckers with their own two eyeballs, right? Like, and heard it with their earballs. Um, so, so first of all, yeah, okay. So first of all, yeah, okay, we'll get there. What are these things? I'm gonna give you my opinion. Here's what I think these lights over New Jersey are. It's the Jersey Devil. I think it's the Jersey Devil. What the heck is the Jersey Devil? I can't tell you in this video because I got work to do in this video. I have some major points. I really want to talk about truth in this video, and that's a complicated subject. And I could do probably 3 videos on what I think the Jersey Devil is, and admit, and I don't under promise, over deliver. So I'm not promising I'm ever going to do those videos, but I think it's the Jersey Devil. That's my opinion. All right, okay. So, and actually, I will say this, and the Jersey Devil is a cryptid, okay, in my humble opinion. All right, now let's talk about sources. Okay, so it's a real mystery. People really want to know. People are like, "What the heck? What's happening here? What's going on? What is happening?" Right? And it's real. That's a very real. It's real, right? Like, people are really wondering. This is a for realsy mystery, right? And so let's talk about it, right? So first of all, I wanted to know, right? And this happens all the time now. You're like, hey, I got a real question. And so you want a source of truth, right? So first of all, there are proximity sources of truth, right? Like, there are institutions that are connected to a subject, right? And then you would be like, if I wanted to know, hey, how do I cook 1,000 hamburgers in a day? I would go to a McDonald's manager because they do it every day, right? That's a source of truth. And the advice they're like, this is what you got to do to get all your ingredients. This is the number of people you're going to need. This is the number of ovens you're going to need. This is the pace you're going to need to meet. This is how you're going to create quality, right? They do it every day. They're a proximity source of truth on the question of how do I cook 1,000 burgers in a single day. They do it every day, right? And they do it all over the country. They're an excellent source of truth on that subject, right? Now, this is, what the heck are the flying lights over New Jersey? That's a really, so then you need a general source of truth, okay? And now this is the entire point of this video, okay? Ryan Macbeth has become a general source of truth for me. Now, who is Ryan Macbeth? Well, he's an ex-military U.S. veteran. He was infantry, so I think that means I think he always says infantry. He never says which branch he was in, but I think infantry. First of all, if you're in the Marines, you always say you're in the Marines. It's exactly like if you went to Harvard, you say you went to Harvard. You say, oh, I went to Harvard. You say it within the first 30 seconds of meeting somebody, right? So if he was Marines, I think he would have said that. He says infantry, which means he's Army, right? So I think he's a U.S. Army veteran, right? Although I know he's a U.S. military veteran, I've never heard him say he was Army. But I'm pretty sure that's what infantry means, because I don't think Navy has infantry, and I don't think Air Force has infantry. All right, okay. So with that said, U.S. military veteran, right? And he says it on his chat, and he's exactly what I am. He's a YouTube commentator, right? He commentates on YouTube, right? He also says that right now he has 5 jobs, right? Now, why does he have 5 jobs? First of all, nobody should have 5 jobs, right? If you have 5 jobs, you're not doing any of them well. So why does he have 5 jobs? Because this guy is brilliant and everybody in the world loves him, right? And he's a general source of truth, okay? And that means people believe the words that come out of his mouth, which is shockingly rare today, right? We got a president who lies every single day, 10 times a day. And that's not me telling you he's a liar. He wrote a book about it. It's called The Art of War. He documented that he is an outrageous, unrepentant, unmitigated liar, right? And so, like, it's not like, oh, is the president a liar? Yes, the president is a liar. He lies all the time. He is allergic to truth, right? And that has set a bar in America where if you're trying to lead, if you're trying to have power, if you're trying to be the cool guy, right, you don't speak truth anymore. Truth isn't cool, right? And that's a harsh reality we live in. But I did not vote for Trump the first time. I did vote for him this time because I wanted to buy eggs. I wanted young people to be able to buy houses, and I wanted us to be removed from World War III, which I think we were already in. So I was like, hey, I can't do it. And so I didn't like voting for Trump, but this is where we were at, right? So a person where people generally believe you're speaking truth, outrageously, incredibly rare. And so this guy has 5 jobs because there's 5 companies that want to pay him a paycheck, and he couldn't say no to them. I'll bet you there's 50 companies that want to pay him, a paycheck and have them on their rolls. But he just couldn't say no to 4 of them, right? Like, and his real job, I think, is YouTube commentator. So he came in and he said, hey, I think this is military. This is a military division taking action, and all the staff in the military division cannot speak about the activities they're doing, right? And so, one, that's not close enough for me to. I think that's too vague because he very specifically didn't say it's U.S. Sources, right? So it's like you're like, well, does that mean this is an invasion or an incursion, right? And so that's the issue, right? This is for realsies important, and he let me down because I wanted a hard answer, right? And he gave me the closest he could. Now the reality is he's still my source of truth, and I think, and this is very important. I want you to understand this right now. Sources of truth are completely personal now. This is new. This is completely new, right? Okay, so what are actual sources of truth in the world today? Let's tick them off. So one, and this is ironic because most people don't believe it at all. In fact, we know for as a concrete reality that most people will never believe it, right? Because it says in the Bible, remnant. The Holy Bible is the greatest source of truth in the world. Every single word in it is true. There's a bunch of promises in there if you're a Christian, and you should be a Christian so you can collect on these promises. Every single promise in it will be made, whether it's made in this life or the next. It will be fulfilled. Those promises will be fulfilled. Okay, so the greatest source of truth is the Holy Bible. Holy Bible ain't going to tell you what's floating over New Jersey, right? So you need another source of truth, either a proximity source of truth or a general source of truth. And right now, there are no proximity sources of truth that are willing to say anything. There are proximity sources of truth. They're not saying anything, right? New Jersey government hasn't made a statement on what they are. That's not good, right? So then you have these guys like Ryan McBeth. Ryan McBeth is a powerful, valuable source of truth. But I say to you, this guy's a source of truth. That's where it ends today. We all choose our sources of truth, and we have no right or no ability to ask anybody else to believe they're true. And most people will say they're not, right? So this is a fundamental change of where we have arrived today. Where we have arrived today, we've arrived in this place where the source of truth is completely personal. We all pick our own, and we all use our own. And the reality is, I think Ryan McBeth is it. He's the end-all, be-all of truth today. If you want to know the truth on a subject, that's when I feel I have heard the truth, right? If it's not in the Bible, I want to hear it from Ryan McBeth, right? And if I do, I believe what he says, right? Sometimes he doesn't say enough, and I want him to say more, but that's okay. He is the determiner. But I think it's really important to understand that we choose our sources of truth, But it is unwise and ridiculous to think that anybody else is going to accept your source of truth. Because and don't get that face on, because you won't accept theirs, right? There are people who choose Pod Save America as a source of truth. I think those guys are an outrageous spin machine. I don't think you can get truth out of them if you squeeze them like an orange, right? But there are other people who believe they are the end all be all of truth, right? And the reality is, the lesson of this video is that today, other than the Holy Bible, sources of truth are completely personal, and you should not expect anybody to believe your sources of truth, but you should know your sources of truth, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.